Good evening, everyone. Today I am presenting an ReDo tower of degenerated transcatheter aortic valve, the index valve being the sapien. We treated with a leaflet modification in view of a coronary obstruction and treated with a self-expanding supraannular valve. I have no financial disclosures. So we have a 78-year-old female presented with a worsening dyspnea and fatigue and pedal edema with class 3 symptoms and a recent heart failure admission. She underwent a tower with a 23 mm Sapien 3 Ultra way back in 2020 with multiple comorbidities in the form of hypertension, hyperlipidemia, diabetes, CID status post-PCI to RCA in 2020. And she also had a CVA in 2024 without any residual defects, HFpEF, gout, COPD on BiPAP, and on the top of it, Jehovah Witness. She is morbidly obese with a BMI of 41 with unremarkable labs and a decent GDMT. The EKG is pretty unremarkable. And we have an transthoracic echo showing a severe degenerated bioprosthetic valve with an peak velocities more than 4 and then peak gradient and mean gradient of 70 and 40 with a thickened leaflets as evidenced in the Black's view. And the transesophageal echo showed degenerated bioprosthetic valve stenosis being the predominant mechanism with no evidence of any paravalvular or intravalvular leakage. We got, fortunately, the index tower CT before the first sapien, which showed a mean diameter of 23, suggesting that the index tower was appropriately sized with the 23 to the native anatomy. And it's also showed a narrow sinotubular junctions as well as narrow sinusovalve, which are less than 30 millimeters. And if you look at the coronaries, right coronary is a decently heighted of 16 millimeters, and the left coronary is of a low takeoff of 9.6 millimeters. And the second CT, which was done prior to this second tower, showed an underexpanded midframe. It shows a mean diameter of a 20.6, suggesting less than approximately 20% underexpansion in the midframe when compared to outflow and inflow of approximately 21.9. And this was the time when the routine double tap was not the norm. It was in 2020. And we also had an CT in-depth analysis. Fortunately, in this case, the leaflet modification was possible because of a good commissural alignment, and on the top of it, good centricity of the coronaries. And between the coronaries, angle is around 130. When we look at the risk of valve to coronary distance, on the left side, it is more than 4. But on the top of it, we have a VT-STJ of less than 2 millimeters falling into high risk. It falls into the 3C classification of vivid classification, suggesting that the patient is at risk of sinus sequestration once we start doing the post-dilatations and pre-dilatations. And when we look at this neoskirt plane in relation to the coronary risk plane, the neoskirt plane is formed by the jail valve leaflets of the index tower once we deploy the second valve. And this red line shows the coronary risk plane. And the coronary risk plane, fortunately for the right side, considering the takeoff of approximately 16 millimeters from the annulus, is free from the risk of coronary obstruction. When we look at the left side, the left takeoff is approximately 9.6, and there is a high probability that once we deploy the second valve, there is a high risk of neoskirt formation and resulting in the jailing. You may comment upon that the valve to coronary is more than 4, but we look at this, the frame is expanding up to the sinotubular junction, even more than that, and this valve to sinotubular junction on the left side is less than 2 millimeters. So we decided to go ahead with the leaflet modification using a shortcut device in order to reduce the risk of coronary obstruction that may happen once we start doing the pre-dilatation as well as valve deployment, resulting in sinus sequestration. And the possible hypothesis, we may get a better expansion of this calcified index first tower leaflets, providing a better expansion. The ReDo tower app shows an appropriately sized valve of a 26 FX in this case. And the femoral groin is a straightforward. We proceeded with the left groin axis. And the patient, finally, the summary is the patient being the Jehovah Witness, even though the STS for a ReDo tower is around 7.9, the patient declines blood transfusion. We have no options apart from going with the ReDo tower. The degenerated bioprosthetic index tower with the recent heart failure, hospitalization. And it was discussed by heart team and decided to go ahead with a leaflet modification for the left side and deploying the second valve with the 26 mm evolute FX. So we did a coronary to document the distance of this valve to coronary distance. And if you see that we are able to engage the left system through the top stent frame of the first index sapien valve. And the left side, there is a stent in the distal RC, which was a patent. and there is a non-obstructive CAD. We placed a sentinel considering the valve-in-valve leaflet modification and prior history of CVA. And we decided to proceed with the leaflet modification on the left side. We already mentioned in today's live cases that we have a positioning arm and a splitting element. Make sure that you reach the bottom of the leaflets. We used to do these procedures under TE guidance, and make sure that your splitting element engages with your positioning arm, and make sure that the positioning arm and the splitting element are centered at the base of the leaflet and the center of the corresponding leaflet. Fortunately, with the good centricity of the coronaries, we are able to achieve a good leaflet modification in this case. And following that, the TE showed a moderate AR. Most of the time, if we do a dedicated split by pushing the wire and retracting the device tailoredly, we get decent results. And it was pretty goodly tolerated by the patient. And we did a pre-dilatation with the 23 mm true balloon in order to better expand the valve prior to deploying the second tower. And the deployment of an evaluate effects is straightforward. We have a good commissural element. Once the valve starts flaring, you can see the 2 dots on the left side and 1 dot on the right side. And on the right side of the screen, we can see that the depth being reasonably good enough for us. And we did it again post-dilatation with the 23 mm true balloon with the final angiogram showing a depths of less than 3 mm on the both sides, with good hemodynamics and no evidence of an AR. And good commissural alignment documenting on this cuspal overlap view. And the outcome by patient has an uneventful recovery and the discharged on the second day, and with a peak gradient of 9/4 on 30 days, and when the patient is in NIHA class 1. We also did a ReDo tower CT, which showed that a better expansion of an index TAVI when compared to the baseline. When we remember the values of the mean diameter is 20.8 and the index tower CT, which expanded to 22.5, and the inflow and outflow at 21.9 pre-tower CT shows, and we have a good expansion of 22 and 24.1. But it also showed that even though we did a pre-dilatation and the post-dilatation, the FX has a relatively under-expansion constrained by this index tower valve. The take-home messages being the balloon expandable valve under-expansion, the patient had a degeneration in less than 5 years, and it can be evident with an mid-frame under-expansion. And as it is predicted in the next coming decades, we are seeing an epidemic of valve-in-valve towers, apart from the valve-in-savers, and there are the cases where we can get a coronary obstruction which is associated with a high mortality. So it is a need of an hour to get dedicated devices where we can get a leaflet modification done, even with the less experienced centers and the less experienced operators, in order to promote the feasibility of doing a ReDo tower and preventing the risk of a coronary obstruction. The pre-dilatation before the implanting the second valve will increases the expansion of an index valve, provided the index valve being an sapien. And the ReDo tower with the tall and short is feasible with an appropriate anatomies, and the post-dilatation was done in order to appropriate frame-to-frame anatomy. And the ReDo tower showed that still, despite the adequate preparation, we have an under-expanded, self-expanding valve, and the long-term data is required in order to optimize these hemodynamics and durabilities. Thank you.